It was a cold morning on April 20th, 1889, in a small Austrian town called Braunau am Inn. A child was born in a tiny house near the border of Germany, Adolf Hitler. His father, Alois Hitler, worked as a customs officer, strict, short-tempered, and proud. His mother, Clara, was soft, kind, and deeply caring. Adolf loved her more than anyone in the world. He grew up in a disciplined home, a home filled with his father's anger and his mother's love. From childhood, Adolf showed signs of strong will and deep imagination. He was fascinated by history, heroes, and architecture. He would sit for hours drawing castles, soldiers, and flags of imaginary nations. But Adolf was also stubborn. He hated being told what to do. He often argued with his father, who wanted him to become a government clerk, while Adolf wanted to be an artist. He would say, "Nein napper den Simon Sinsen durin."
I will never live an ordinary life. I will be something greater.
No one took his words seriously, not even his father. At the age of 16, Adolf dropped out of school. He wanted to go to Vienna, the capital of Austria, to study art. He believed his destiny was to paint and build. In 1907, with hope in his heart and a small bag of clothes, he took the train to Vienna. He applied to the Academy of Fine Arts Vienna, but when the results came, he was rejected. The professors said he lacked talent for art. That single rejection cut through his soul like a knife. Still, he didn't give up. He tried again the next year, and again, he was rejected. His dream was over. Within months, tragedy struck. His mother Clara died of cancer. He was heartbroken. He later said,
I have never loved anyone as I loved my mother. Her death left me empty.
Now Adolf was completely alone. No money, no family, no future. He drifted into the streets of Vienna, living in homeless shelters and eating leftovers. During these dark years, his thoughts changed. He began to blame others for his failure, the rich, the Jews, the foreigners. He started reading political books, attending nationalist meetings, and filling his mind with hate and anger instead of art and color. That is where the seeds of destruction were planted. Not on a battlefield, but in the mind of a starving artist who had lost hope. In 1914, Europe exploded into World War I. For Adolf, this was a chance, a purpose. He crossed into Germany and joined the Bavarian army. In the trenches of France and Belgium, he carried messages between the front lines, often under deadly fire. He lived among blood, explosions, and fear. But he found belonging. For the first time in his life, he felt part of something greater. Germany. He fought bravely, was wounded, and received medals for courage, including the Iron Cross, First Class. But in 1918, when the war ended, Hitler was lying in a hospital, temporarily blinded by a gas attack. There he heard the news. Germany had surrendered. He broke down. He cried. He refused to believe it.
It cannot be true. The German army was undefeated. Someone betrayed us.
In that hospital bed, Adolf Hitler made a silent vow that one day he would restore Germany to power and take revenge on those he blamed. After the war, Germany was a graveyard of hopes. Its economy collapsed. People starved, soldiers wandered jobless, and the proud German Empire had become a defeated republic. The peace treaty, Treaty of Versailles, punished Germany brutally. The country lost land, money, and honor. Millions felt humiliated. And in that anger, Adolf Hitler found his opportunity. He joined a small political group in 1919 called the German Workers' Party. He didn't join for power, he joined because of anger. But soon, people noticed him. When Hitler spoke, crowds went silent. His voice was sharp, emotional, full of pain and pride. He spoke about betrayal, about German greatness, about a future empire. He told people what they wanted to hear, that their suffering was not their fault, that someone else was to blame. The small party began to grow. It soon became the National Socialist German Workers' Party, the Nazi Party. And at its center stood one man, Adolf Hitler. In the early 1920s, Germany was burning with chaos and protests, unemployment, violence everywhere. Hitler started holding mass rallies in beer halls, using music, flags, torches, and powerful speeches. He gave people a sense of identity, pride, and unity. He said, "Aua!
Germany will rise again. We will rebuild our nation, and no foreign hand will ever control us again."
People cheered. They believed him. To them, Hitler was not a criminal. He was a savior. But in 1923, he made his first major mistake. He tried to take power by force in Munich in what became known as the Beer Hall Putsch. The coup failed. Hitler was arrested and sent to prison. Inside his prison cell, Hitler had time and ambition. He began to write a book called Mein Kampf, My Struggle. In it, He described his ideology, his dream of a pure German race, his hatred of Jews, and his plan for expansion. A German empire that would rule Europe for 1,000 years. He didn't just write a book, he wrote a blueprint for destruction. After 9 months, he was released. He found his party still alive and he began rebuilding it, but this time, he changed his strategy. Instead of violence, he would use politics. He would not destroy democracy, he would use it to destroy itself. By 1930, Germany was in deep depression. Millions were jobless, hungry, and desperate. People had lost faith in their government. Hitler's speeches gave them hope. He promised jobs, security, and national pride. He blamed the Jews and the politicians for Germany's misery. His words were poisonous, but they worked. Crowds grew larger, his party gained power, and by 1932, the Nazis had become the largest political force in Germany. On January 30, 1933, Adolf Hitler was appointed Chancellor of Germany. The same man who once lived homeless on the streets of Vienna was now the ruler of one of the most powerful nations on earth. People cheered in the streets, they thought the savior had come. But they didn't know. The darkest chapter in human history had just begun. By 1933, Adolf Hitler had become Chancellor of Germany, but he wanted more than leadership. He wanted absolute power. Within months he banned all other political parties. He silenced newspapers, controlled the radio, and turned schools into tools of propaganda. The Nazi symbol, the swastika, appeared on every flag, every uniform, every wall. Children were taught to salute him. People called him Führer, the leader. Through fiery speeches, he promised to make Germany powerful again. He rebuilt the army, created highways, and gave jobs to millions. Germany was rising fast, the world watched in fear. But under that rise was a darkness growing stronger every day. Hitler's mind was obsessed with one idea, that Germans were the master race. He believed Jews, communists, and the weak were destroying the nation. He began passing laws that took away Jewish rights. They couldn't own businesses, couldn't marry Germans, couldn't live freely. Thousands were arrested, many were beaten. Germany's streets became silent, filled with fear. By 1938, Hitler's ambitions crossed borders. He invaded Austria, then Czechoslovakia, and the world did nothing to stop him. But on September 1, 1939, when German tanks rolled into Poland, everything changed. The world declared war. World War II had begun. Hitler's army moved like thunder. They called it Blitzkrieg, the Lightning War. Within months, Germany conquered Poland, Denmark, Norway, Belgium, and France. In 1940, his soldiers marched through Paris, and Hitler stood before the Eiffel Tower, smiling in victory. The Nazi Empire seemed unstoppable. He turned his eyes to Britain. But when his planes bombed London in the Battle of Britain, he faced something he had never seen before. Resistance. Britain refused to fall. It was the first time Hitler's confidence began to shake. In 1941, Hitler made the most dangerous decision of his life. He broke his pact with the Soviet Union and attacked Russia, a land so vast and frozen that even his powerful army couldn't handle it. Millions of soldiers marched east. They captured cities, but as winter came, the German army began to freeze, starve, and die. Still, Hitler refused to retreat.
Germany never surrenders.
At the same time, far away in the Pacific, Japan attacked Pearl Harbor, and the United States entered the war. Now, the world's strongest nation stood against Hitler. While the war raged on, Hitler's secret war had already begun. The final solution. He ordered the extermination of all Jews in Europe. Trains carried millions of innocent men, women and children to concentration camps like Auschwitz, Treblinka, and Sobibor. There, families were torn apart. Children cried for their mothers. People were sent to gas chambers disguised as showers. Over 6 million Jews were murdered, along with millions of others. Poles, gypsies, prisoners, and anyone Hitler considered unworthy. It was not just war, it was genocide, a crime so monstrous that the world would never forget it. By 1943, the Nazi dream began to collapse. In the Battle of Stalingrad, the Soviet Union crushed the German army. It was Hitler's first great defeat. His generals wanted to surrender, but Hitler refused. He fired them, imprisoned them, even executed some. He trusted no one. Germany was now fighting on all sides. The Allies attacked from the west, and the Soviets advanced from the east. Cities burned. Millions died. But inside his bunker in Berlin, Hitler still believed he could win. He told his officers,
If Germany loses, it deserves to perish with me.
By April 1945, Berlin was surrounded. Bombs rained from the sky. The once mighty city was now a smoking ruin. Deep underground, in a dark concrete bunker, Hitler lived his final days. He was pale, trembling, and delusional, still giving orders to armies that no longer existed. Beside him was Eva Braun, the woman who had loved him for years. On April 29th, they were married inside the bunker. The next day, April 30th, 1945, they both ended their lives. Outside, the Soviet army stormed the city. Soldiers found Hitler's bunker empty. Only ashes remained. The man who once dreamed of ruling the world died hiding underground, defeated and alone. Days later, Germany surrendered. World War II was over, but the cost was unimaginable. Over 70 million people had died. Cities across Europe were reduced to rubble. Millions were left homeless, hungry, and broken. When the Allied forces entered the concentration camps, they saw the truth. Mountains of bodies, starving survivors, and the full horror of Hitler's crimes. The world promised.
Never again.
Adolf Hitler had risen from nothing, a poor, rejected artist, and became the cause of the greatest tragedy in human history. He dreamed of building a perfect world, but his hate destroyed the real one. His story is not just history, it is a warning.
When one man's hate becomes the voice of a nation, the world burns.
Even today, his story reminds humanity how fragile peace can be, and how dangerous blind faith in power truly is. From a boy with dreams, to a dictator who drowned the world in blood, Adolf Hitler's life is proof that evil begins quietly, but ends in flames. A story the world must never forget.